Scrutiny continues after the Lakers saw their season come to an end against Denver. Since being eliminated, the organization has parted ways with head coach Darvin Ham, and LeBron James has faced some criticism because of it. In fact, earlier this week on First Take, Kendrick Perkins shared this drastic career advice.
I hate to say it, but I believe this in my soul right now. I wish LeBron James will retire. The more LeBron James continue to play the game of basketball, the more it's going to hurt his legacy, and the more it's going to continue to hurt his GOAT argument. Because as long as he steps foot on that floor, every single season, it's going to be expectations of him of winning a championship. And when he don't do that, we're going to be looking at him and saying, well, what happened now?
This obviously got a lot of attention. What was your reaction to it, Alan Hahn?
I get what he's saying because we don't like to see legends fade. We don't like to see that. There's a whole generation of fans that only know Larry Bird as a guy with a bad back and a beer belly who could only just shoot threes and really couldn't move. You watch him in the 80s or early 80s, a much different looking player. So I get that part of it, but LeBron James is still playing at an incredibly high level. He's still one of the elite players in the league. The only thing that I think as far as the legacy conversation goes will be, can he win another championship? Because that's all we ever hold, the standard we hold him to. We're used to seeing him year in and year out in the finals, or at least the conference finals. He's not there. So does he want to fade into fade to black, basically? Or does he try to do an Expendables? Does he try to find himself on another team while in this era of a younger teams that are built differently, put together one more super team and see if he can get one more championship? That's the compelling story about him. But he's certainly still playing at a high level, Legs.
I really disagree with Perk on this one. I actually think it can add to his legacy being this good and this deep into his career. It's never been done before. And by the way, this isn't a shot at Michael Jordan at all, but Michael Jordan, as he got deeper into his career in Washington, he completely changed even the way he played.
Nobody wanted Wizards Jordan.
He was a back you down, turn around jump shoot player, right? He was LeBron James is the same player that he was 10 years ago. He plays the same style of game. There are still nights he looks like the best athlete on the court, pushing 40. So for me, it actually helps his legacy. I think the one thing that he's going to take some shots here as he goes is the number of guys that end up unemployed, right, around LeBron James because of the expectation level. But I actually respect tremendously what he's doing, and it's not going to hurt his legacy because he is locked in at number 2.
Let me show that full screen here just to illustrate what Legs is talking about. Cindy, let's put it up. The average head coach under LeBron, and that's actually an interesting way of phrasing that. In theory, LeBron is under the head coach, but we all know that's ridiculous. The average coach has lasted about 2.5 years. If you see through the court, look at all of the different people who have coached LeBron James since he came into the league. Eric Spoelstra and Ty Lue account for 7 of LeBron's 21 seasons. He went to the finals in all 7 of those seasons and then left both of those coaches on his own. I mean, Wendy, you've been around him since he was in high school. Your thoughts?
Number 1, his legacy is secure. Number 2, he's making $50 million a year, which he can sign multiple years for. Number 3, at the end, you always want to extend your career. And I just defer to Mr. Perkins, who actually, at the end of his career, played in the G League so he could try to get back into the NBA, which he was able to do. That's all.
I love that, Wendy, because I think retiring is a very personal conversation. And I think Perk's statement to me forgets the piece about competition, right? That's also why you love to play the game and to be in a locker room. Double down, 25, 7, and 8, is not unproductive in today's league.
I just want to make sure I'm right on this. I voted him to an All-NBA team. He's going to make an All-NBA team, right? He's one of the 15 best players in the NBA right now.
He has our 2 votes. I don't know if he'll get enough.
But he's certainly going to get close.
Absolutely.
So he's one of the 15 best players in the NBA.
Greeny, if you put him on several teams, they're championship contenders overnight because of him.
I personally believe that doing what he's doing now is adding to his legacy.
That's exactly how I intended to play at this level, and similar to the style of play that you did when you were in your mid-20s. That's the thing that's most incredible to me.
I co-sign your take, despite you belaboring the thing today. Meanwhile, as I promised you, sneaky big news from New York, and it's not good. Backup center Mitchell Robinson is likely out for the rest of the playoffs. He has a stress injury to his left ankle. He played just 12 minutes in Game 1. He had surgery on that ankle in December, missed 50 games. He sprained that same ankle in Game 3 against the 76ers. I'll remind everyone who doesn't know that Alan and Monica are both part of the broadcast of New York Knicks basketball here in New York. So you know that team better than anybody. They are incredibly The opposite of deep, shallow. I mean, as it is, they only got 3 points off their bench. How would you describe the significance of this loss?
Don't love it. Mitchell Robinson did a great job in spots defending Joel Embiid in the previous series. But I will say in Game 5 in Philly, when Robinson was unavailable and Hartenstein got in foul trouble, Precious Achiuwa was deployed. And he had a tremendous fourth quarter performance, particularly defensively. And so I do think that his skill set matches up with what the Indiana Pacers are looking to do.
Yeah, but this is like the Black Knight in Monty Python. I mean, how many body parts can a team lose before they finally have nothing left to fight with? So they're even more shallow at the center position, though they do have that depth. But this takes me back again, as we were talking about Jamal Murray and suspensions and eye for an eye. If someone got hurt, he would have been. Joel Embiid, this all started with that play where Embiid grabs his legs. Mitchell Robinson was up in the air. He grabs his legs and yanks him down, and you see he had the left ankle surgically repaired, and he's landing hard on both sides. He twists the right one. He lands hard on the left one. Then shortly after this, Embiid's driving at him, falls on him, lands on that ankle again. Mitchell Robinson left that game at halftime, did not return, and from that point forward, he looked like somebody that was having a hard time getting up down the floor. Game 1, he could barely move. And so you go back to that moment and you say, well, did he injure the player? It led to an injury. It led to a team losing a key significant player. And that's why, again, when we made a big deal about that Embiid play and why that should have been a flagrant 2, that looked like he was injuring another player on a careless, reckless play. It didn't happen.
That was the game Embiid had 50 points, by the way. Again, you're covering the series. You were out of practice yesterday. What's the one most important thing you can tell us leading into Game 2 tonight?
Tyrese Halliburton spoke to us for 7 minutes yesterday and 13 times said he will be better tonight. 6 shots, 6 points. Halliburton doesn't get better. The Pacers are probably going to be 2-0 down.
Legs, we will all be here tomorrow morning reacting to this game. What are we going to say was the difference? What will decide Game 2 tonight?
Well, Halliburton obviously has to be much better. It goes without saying. He was a no-show in Game 1. No aggressiveness whatsoever. But the other thing is, what are they going to do strategy-wise against Jalen Brunson? Nembhard is not the answer. You can play him on him some. He's got great lateral quickness. He was overwhelmed physically with Brunson getting to his spots, bumping him, leaning back. He's not big enough to contest a shot. I think Nesmith will be on him more. And I also think selectively try to get it out of his hands and deny him back as much as you can and see if DiVincenzo and Hart and other guys can go make a play off the dribble. Brunson was too comfortable, particularly in the fourth quarter of that game, operating against Nembhard in a lot of one-on-one.